All right, this will be a quick tutorial going over how to remove solid background. So if you're using different tools for web design to download images, you may sometimes download an image and it's got a big white box around it that you don't want. So Pixlr, which is an editor that I really like to use online, it works on Chromebooks and other devices. Pixlr has two versions. They have the editor, which is more fancy. So if you're used to like Photoshop, the editor is going to be what you like. Or there is Pixlr X, which is their other version, doesn't have quite the same number of tools. It works in a different way. It's kind of more visual as far as buttons go. So we're going to do this two ways. I'll start off, we'll do this one using the more complicated one. So when you open a document, this is going to be over here. I've just pulled it over here closer. It will be one layer, and that layer will be locked. So in order to delete a background, well, you have to unlock the background. So right here is a little padlock. You just double click to unlock it. Then you're going to take your magic wand tool, which is used to select solid colors. So I'm going to click my magic wand tool and then click out here on the white space. And then just simply press the delete key on your keyboard. All right, now we want to get rid of these little marching ants that appeared. So edit and then deselect all, or Control D to get rid of those. Now we've kind of got a bunch of extra space around here. So I'm going to take the crop tool and just draw a box around the part that you want to keep, like so, and double click in it. And now we've got the finished version. If you wanted to, you could add some text. So let's say I wanted to put my name in here. I could do that. I will tell you though that text is treated kind of, and then take your move tool to move it. Text is treated a little bit differently than other things. So for instance, if I had a little picture that I brought in here, I could rotate it around. You can't do that with text. For whatever reason, if you go and you attempt to transform text, we don't get handles to use. So the trick in this program is that you have to right-click the text layer and you have to rasterize that layer. Once you do that, it'll have the checkerboard on it, and then you can go to Edit and Free Transform. That gives you some handles, and then at this point you could rotate it around. So if you wanted to rotate your name, make it look like it fits on the page a little bit better, then you can do so, and then just click and say yes to apply the changes, and there it is. So at this point you need to decide if this is the size you want. What I like about this program is it tells you the size in pixels right here, and it shows you the zoom. So this is how big this would be. So if I was putting it on a web page and I didn't want it to be so big, I could resize this image. If I know how many pixels, let's say I know I want it to be 300 pixels wide, I can go ahead and type that in, and then now we can see it in its actual size. The last step, of course, is to save it in the proper format. So if you're going to save it to put on a web page, you want the background to stay transparent. A JPEG is not transparent, so you're going to have to hit the drop-down arrow and choose PNG, and it'll even tell you transparent, full quality. And then, of course, you can hit OK, and then you can save it to your folder and download it to use in whatever application that you need to use it in. All right, let's go to the other one, Pixlr X. It's a little easier for those of you who have not used Photoshop. So this is a pretty big picture. We're at 74% zoom, so if I go to 100% or close, I'll just go to fill here. And you know, it's pretty big. So let's go ahead starting off and resize. So if we click on the first button, we can resize the image. So like the other, let's say that, say we know we want it to be 300 wide. Well, we probably should crop it first. It's got a lot of white around it. So here's your crop tool. Just like the other, just kind of pull in and get it to be the dimensions that you want, and then hit apply. Okay, then at this point we would resize the image. So let's say we know we want it to be 300 wide. We go ahead and put that in and hit apply. That's going to scale that down. We can then, of course, get it to around 100%, and that would give us the actual size. Finally, to remove the background, there's a scissors button or cutout button. There are a lot of different tools that you can use in here. Magic Cutout is like the magic wand. So you would click on the magic wand, set it to remove, and then go ahead and give it a click. And it just kind of removes it like so. There's also, like, say you wanted to get rid of the whatever, I don't even know what that is over there, like some weird little things that are happening. You could take the lasso cutout and remove. So I can just draw around this little area here and get rid of that little section as well. And you have a lasso in the other program too, so if there was an area you wanted to get rid of, same story, not that you would want to do this, but I'm going to click down here on the layer that has the little guy. let's say I wanted to get rid of that. That's going to look terrible because I went down into his head, but then you just press delete. The only thing you have to remember in this other program is be sure you're on the right layer. Now I'm going to undo that, but that's basically all you have to know about that. So once you get this all finished, you can then save it. So same concept. Oops. Same concept here. We hit the save button. Has to be a PNG if you want it to be transparent. And then you can download. And then at that point, you should have your extra special pig here so that you have the background removed from it. So those are two programs that both have the option to add different things to it, to resize it, to remove the background. There is a text button in here as well. So we'll just say hello. And on here, again, it's a little bit different. You have kind of different ways to control things. But so now I've got my text on there, and then on here you just use your little rotation buttons to rotate it, to change the size, the color, the spacing of the letters, and so forth. There we go. And then again, if you know that's what you want, then you would save it again, and now you're going to have your hello pig or whatever that you could then use on your document. All right, and that's pretty much it. That's just a very short version of how to start with using graphics, using Pixlr for web design.